Welcome to ECNTRADE Daily Video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you for joining me. So far, the Australian dollar maintains its upward momentum, adding to the 3-day winning streak. Along with that, the market is now challenging the 60-day moving average after recently breaking above it. The market penetrated below it and now attempts to re-establish its upward trend to a bullish case as we challenge the region somewhere around 66.85.95. However, looking ahead, this Tuesday, the Reserve Bank of Australia is expected to lift its interest rate by 25 basis points from 4.1 to 4.35%. in an attempt to control persistently high inflation. Although the inflation is somewhat declining in Australia, but it still remains well above the RBA's target. Meanwhile, in other economic data, the US dollar index, which measures the greenback strength against a basket of 6 major currencies, faced weakness following the release of the June Institute Supply Management, or the ISM manufacturing PMI data, which slipped from the previous month of 46.9 to 46%. Besides the RBA announcement, most of the attention this week will be on the US employment non-farm payrolls report, with a forecast around 220,000 jobs added. Along with that, we also expect a slightly mixed number when it comes to the Chinese Caixin PMI services out on Wednesday. As I mentioned, the top side is being challenged for the Australian dollar. The technicals have firmed up slightly for the RSI, but a rejection from this region would turn the market around back towards 66.25 and reinstate the downside to around 65.40. A little bit whipsawed overnight for the euro, but nevertheless the market is looking for direction after recently breaking to the downside from this diamond pattern, and therefore could see initial down tests and rejection from its current levels. The reason behind that is that the MACD is weak and the RSI is nearly penetrating the midway point, or the 50 midway point, and therefore could see further weakness in the coming session. However, with markets likely to be slightly quiet due to the US holiday in observance of July the 4th, that is for Independence Day, could see a slightly weaker session, but quieter due to the US being absent. Looking at dollar yen, the market is still respecting that top side around 145. Nevertheless, the technicals are breaking down and therefore could see a pullback towards 143.65, where this trend line comes in, or maybe even a little bit lower to 142.90. Overall, though, it is warranted for a pullback due to the extent of this rally since around the 139 area. So the 6 big figure rally now expects to see a slight pullback, or modest, that is, to eventually see demand return and maybe even see a re-challenge to that top side of 145. Sterling, well, the market is still trying to establish where the next move may be due to the mixed technicals. We could see a slightly weaker play, and that is towards the region of 124 as a broader call. The reason behind that is the RSI is still quite heavy, along with that with the MACD, so therefore limits the upside attempts and maybe even see a further weaker play into today's or tomorrow's session. Gold, well, the market's holding to its 3-day bullish advance after the Dragonfly Doji was posted and from the lows of 1,890. In light of the pattern, though, I feel we're getting quite close to the bearish ambush that is around 1,926 to 28, and if so, then we may see another down challenge. From a broader aspect, I still feel the market has potential to go lower, that is towards 1,850, and reassess. Wrapping up with oil, well, the market was a bit whipsawed overnight and still trying to establish a trend as it's locked in the broader parameters of $65 to 74. I feel from the topside rejection now puts the path back to the downside and therefore looks towards the region somewhere around 69.5 or maybe down to about 68.80. But still, as I mentioned before, there is little trend. So therefore the market no doubt will continue to play in this broader range until we get some kind of established trend to either break further to the upside or return towards 65. Well, that's a wrap for the day. Thank you very much for joining me. And as always, look after the intraday report. I hope you enjoy the great start to the day.